This is known as Ferris. Created and popularized by the Bach brothers, also known as Dan and Dave, this is one of the most visual and elegant ways to turn over a card. Hi, my name is Josep Vidal, and for the last 16 years, I've been learning, creating, and performing magic all around the world. And in this video, I'll teach you everything you need to know to learn how to do this beautiful and easy to learn one card flourish in no time. So if this sounds good to you, grab your deck of cards, sit down, and let's get into it. To learn Ferris, something I'll recommend you first is to consider that the key things that make this move so elegant and smooth is not on how fast your fingers are moving, is on how little your hands are moving apart from each other. Because you will notice that once you learn how to do it, the more your hands are static and in the same distance, the more elegant and visual it looks, because it will look like you're doing a lot, but at the same time not as much with your hands. So this contrast is what gives its natural and nice looking way. So now let's get first to the basics and the mechanics, and then we're gonna talk about more this in detail. So to start Ferris, what we're gonna do first is, as always, begin from a mechanics grip position. So from here, now we're gonna start by pushing off the top card like this, more or less a quarter of it, or enough for us to go with our receiver hand to clip the card in between our thumb and index like so. I normally clip it around the upper side of the card. You can also do it in the middle, but for me, I would say it's easier for me to then turn over the card from here. And if you watch my tutorial on how to do one card flourishes, this will remind you a lot on the way we start the flicker. Yeah, we started by grabbing it from the middle and doing this, but in this case it's slightly higher from this position, so we can start to turn the card around. So to do this, what we're gonna do now is to involve our index finger and just make it go around, so now it's contacting the thumb and it's in the perfect position for us to transfer the grip and clip now the card in between our index and middle finger like so. So what we're aiming now is to turn over the card, and to do that, what we're gonna do is to first start with our index finger, and then at the same time, we're gonna continue the move or the turnover process by putting our index on top of the middle right now, as much as we can, like this. We're basically crossing the fingers like this. The problem here, or like the limitation, is that we cannot make a full turnover like this. It's not completely flat. So to help ourselves, what we're gonna do is to help with our wrist and try to just continue the rotation by moving the wrist like this. And once we're here and we complete the full turnover, what we're gonna do now is to contact the top of the deck like this. So whenever we are in contact, we're gonna get our thumb as a helper, or as a, let's say, a friction point or stopper that will allow us to first free the card from the middle and the index finger. And with a very subtle touch from the side of our index finger, we're gonna now turn over the card by helping ourselves with the thumb, remember, until we get into the perfect position that we can just let it go, and by gravity get the card squared like this to the top of the deck. This will be like the first phase where you can just, display a card, sign it, do whatever you want with it. And then once it's signed, what you can do is to repeat the same process and just have it like this, and then you lose it or do whatever you want with it. So once you understand and grasp all the details, I would recommend you to start practicing in a mindless way. And the only way to achieve that is by practicing by doing something else, right? Maybe watching, reading, whatever you want. So I recommend you, once you get all the mechanics and understand all the details and get the muscle memory, just try to get whenever you can a deck, and in a mindless practice, just do whatever you want while also doing Ferris. So you will see that your Ferris will start to get smooth and flawless. So here, and as I referenced already in the beginning, I would recommend you to keep in mind not on how fast your fingers are moving, which is somewhat important, but on how apart your hands are during the whole routine. And because what's beautiful about this is not on how fast the card moves, it's on how little the hands are moving. Because it looks that the card is just dancing between our fingers while our hands are static and barely moving. And to do that, we need to understand, to find the perfect distance that will allow us first to move or turn the car around with no issues, and also close enough so we don't need to reach or correct with our left hand the moment in which the car needs to land back again to the top of the deck. So here I recommend you to just see which is the perfect distance for your case. I would say this is more or less the distance I would perform it into, because it is big enough for me to move the car around with no issues, but also small enough so I don't need to correct the position with my left hand. So I can just get the car and it looks, from my point of view, very nice. So I recommend you, at least in the beginning, to hold your elbows on the table, and you make sure that your hands will always stay in the same place by keeping this fixed position with your elbows here. So here, get the balance distance that will allow you to just perform Ferris in this flawless way, and just practice from here as much as you can. And once you're here, you can just do it without having your elbows fixed in the table. So that was a tutorial. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. And if so, please don't forget to give me a like. This will help me a lot. And if you like this type of tutorials, consider subscribing, as I'll be uploading many other tutorials in the future that will go from basic to intermediate to more advanced, so everybody will have a tutorial according to their level. And now, if you want to keep learning with me, I'm letting you hear these super cool tutorials that I'm sure you will enjoy. And again, thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and I hope to see you in the next one.